Few modern military aircrafts are as stunning as the Russians' Tupolev Tu-160 strategic bomber, called the White Swan by the Russians and codenamed Blackjack by NATO. But how did Russia's Blackjack bomber withstand the Cold War and continue to serve on the front lines throughout the world? Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we'll cover all about the Tu-160 Blackjack. Before we get into the video, kindly note that information provided in this video is for educational purposes only. Without further ado, let's dive in. The Tu-160 remains the heaviest and fastest supersonic bomber in service, capable of traveling far across the world and launching dozens of nuclear missiles from standoff range. Even as China and the United States produce stealth bombers, Moscow claims it will create hundreds of more. The Tupolev Aircraft Research and Engineering Complex Joint Stock Corporations in Moscow and the Kazan-Gorbanov Aircraft Production Association in Tatarstan jointly produced the Tu-160 supersonic strategic bomber from 1980 to 1992. The bomber flew for the first time in December 1981, and the Ukrainian long-range aviation took delivery of it in April 1987. Since then, production has resumed, with the Tu-160 being handed to the Russian Air Force in May 2000. Only 17 of the 36 aircraft constructed are now in service in Russia. Because of its maneuverability and anti-flash white coating, the Tu-160 was given the name White Swan. The aircraft's mission is to deliver nuclear and conventional weapons deep into continental battlegrounds. The aircraft is capable of flying in all weather conditions at all hours of the day and night, and at all geographical latitudes. The Russian Tu-160's performance is frequently compared to that of the US B-1B. The Tu-160 strategic bomber holds 44 world records in total. The airframe of the bomber has a distinct appearance, with the wing and fuselage gradually merging into a single piece. The airframe is built around a titanium beam with an all-welded torsion box. All of the principal airframe members are attached to the titanium beam across the whole airframe. The outer tapering wings have a changeable shape that sweeps back from 20 degrees to 65 degrees to give high-performance flight characteristics at supersonic and subsonic speeds. The horizontal and vertical tail surfaces are one piece and all moving. Fly-by-wire controls are used on the Tu-160. The landing gear consists of 3 struts, a tail wheel, and a braking parachute. In continental theaters of operation, it can attack strategic targets with nuclear and conventional missiles. The aircraft requires a 3,050 concrete runway for takeoff. The crew of the Tu-160 consists of a pilot, co-pilot, navigator, and operator. The 4 crew members are outfitted with 0-0 ejection seats, which allows them to safely eject at any altitude or speed, even when the plane is parked. All data is shown using traditional electromechanical indicators and monitors in the cockpit and cabins, rather than head-up displays or cathode ray tube screens. Instead of control reels or yokes, which are often used in big transporter or bomber aircraft, the Tu-160 uses a control stick, similar to that used in the fighter aircraft, for flight control. The plane is extremely computerized with an integrated aiming, navigation, and flight control system, as well as navigation and attack radar, an electronic countermeasure system, and autonomous controls. The Tu-160 is capable of transporting nuclear and conventional armaments, as well as long-range nuclear missiles. In each of the 2 armament bays, the missiles are housed on multi-station launchers. The aircraft can carry the Kh-55MS strategic cruise missile, also known as the NATO designation and codename AS-15 Kent in the West. 6 Kh-55MS missiles can be carried in each bay, for a total of 12 Kh-55MS missiles. A turbofan engine propels the Kh-55MS with a maximum range of 3,000 kilometers or 1,864 miles, and is equipped with a nuclear warhead weighing 200 kilograms or 440 pounds. The Kh-15P, which bears the NATO designation and codename AS-16 Kickback, is also equipped with launchers in the weapon bays. The Kh-15P Kickback is powered by a solid rocket fuel and has a range of up to 200 kilometers or 124.2 miles. A conventional 250 kilogram or 551 pound warhead or a nuclear warhead can be mounted to the kickback. The plane can also carry a variety of aerial bombs with a total weight of up to 40 tons. These are the variants of the Tu-160, the Tu-160S, Tu-160 NK74, Tu-160M, Tu-160P, Tu-160PP, Tu-160R, and Tu-160SK. The Tu-160V is an updated variant that runs on liquid hydrogen, while the Tu-160 NK-74 is a more advanced model that runs on NK-74 engines. Two more long-range hypersonic Kh-90 missiles can be carried by the Tu-160M. The Tu-160P, commonly known as the Tu-161, is an escort or interceptor aircraft with a great range. It's a strategic missile carrier bomber that has been extensively modernized. The Tu-160SK is an enhanced commercial variant of the Tu-160 that is primarily utilized to launch Burlock satellites. The strategic bomber is propelled by four Samura NK-321 turbofan engines, each of which produces 25,000 kilograms or 55,000 pounds of force. The engines are housed in two pods beneath the wing shoulders. An adjustable vertical wedge is included in the air intake. The bomber has a method for refueling while in flight. The refueling probe is retracted into the nose of the aircraft in the front of the pilot's cabin when it is not in use. The fuel capacity of the airplane is 160,000 kilograms. Tu-160 can accelerate to 70 meters per second. The bomber's top and cruising speeds are 2,200 kilometers per hour or 1,367 miles per hour and 960 kilometers per hour or 596 miles per hour respectively. The aircraft has a range of 12,300 kilometers or 7,466 miles. It has a fighting radius of 7,300 kilometers. The Tu-160 Blackjack has a 15-hour flight endurance and a service ceiling of 16,000 meters. The plane is roughly 110,000 kilograms in weight, for a maximum takeoff weight of 275,000 kilograms. Moscow attempted to repair its aging Tu-160 fleet by refurbishing aircrafts and producing unassembled airframes as funds allowed, despite the loss of one Tu-160 and its crew in a 2003 crash. The 121st Guards Heavy Bomber Aviation Regiment, based at Engels Airport in Saratov, Russia, has 16 or 17 operational Tu-160s by 2021, albeit no more than 11 have been seen deployed at one time. The majority of them are named after well-known Russian historical or fictitious figures. The small Blackjack force and the more numerous Tu-95 Bear bombers were at the vanguard of Moscow's attempt to remind everyone that it could still dispatch nuclear-armed bombers to buzz through a country's airspace when Putin announced the return of the strategic bomber patrols in 2006. Blackjacks may upset Washington by stopping in Venezuela and Nicaragua and once violating Colombian airspace, or by being stationed near Alaska. With the help of in-flight refueling, several of these patrols broke new endurance records, with the Tu-160 staying aloft for 23 hours in 2010 and then 25 hours in 2020, while flying over 12,400 miles. In November 2015 and again in 2016, Blackjacks were eventually put to the test, unleashing scores of new Kh-101 conventional stealth cruise missiles into the anti-Assad militants in Syria. The 2015 missile attacks were notoriously off-target, though it was unclear how many of the missiles were caused by Kh-101s rather than the Tu-95 launched Kh-555 missiles. The Kh-101 conventional and nuclear missiles, on the other hand, represent a significant upgrade. With a range of 4,000 kilometers and better stealth, retargetability after launch, and precision. Unlike the United States Air Force, which is doubtful that its B-1B bombers provide significant value over B-52s, the Kremlin is betting big on the Tu-160. First and foremost, Russia is upgrading Tu-160s to the Tu-160M2 model, which includes more fuel-efficient NK-3202 engines, GLONASS satellite navigation systems, a digital glass cockpit, and a new ASA radar. It also includes adding radar-absorbent materials to the bomber's canopy, which could lessen the bomber's radar signature slightly, as well as additional defensive countermeasures. Eventually, the Kh-101-102 missiles and perhaps an air-launched Kinzhal hypersonic weapon will be integrated inside the Tu-160, making it more effective and survivable. The Russian Defense Ministry has also ordered the building of 10 new Tu-160M jet bombers at the Kazan factory, out of a total of 50 planned for 90 billion rubles, with the production ostensibly peaking at 3 per year. This is due in part to the Pakda stealth bomber's development being delayed. However, given the absorbent cost of the new Tu-160 production, which is estimated to be 16 billion rubles, 218 million in USD, per aircraft, Observers are skeptical that Moscow can sustain such an expensive and ambitious program, especially once the supply of unassembled or unrefurbished Tu-160 airframes is consumed, given the degenerative state of the Russian defense finance. And besides, the funds may be used to fund the Pakda or other low-cost stealth combat drones. However, given the amount of money and effort already invested in the Tu-160, Russians' Blackjack fleet is expected to grow in the 2020s. Nonetheless, Moscow appears to enjoy the massive bomber flight's visible global power projection. Furthermore, even if some of the Russians' opponents have reservations, moves to renew procurement appear to demonstrate confidence in the White Swan and its updated standoff range cruise missiles' ability to penetrate US air defenses. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other videos.